Marcus McGhee was in here just a few minutes ago, and he was saying that he was very surprised or super excited as well when he got your name. How about you? What was your reaction when you got Marcus McGhee? Were you surprised that it was someone a lot lower ranked?
Hi, everybody. I was actually very happy to have a fight. I knew that people from top 5, top 10, where there was nobody there who wanted to fight me. So once I knew that there was an opponent, I was happy to fight. I said, give me anybody and I'll fight him.
Who did you initially have in mind?
I was offered a 5-round fight against Umar Nurmagomedov in Baku in Azerbaijan, and I accepted the fight right away, but for their own reason, his team didn't accept the fight. And I knew I wanted to fight as soon as possible, and the next possible opportunity was to fight in Abu Dhabi.
And what do you think of Marcus McGhee after you've gotten a chance to check out his fights? What do you think of his fighting style? He likes to stand and trade and has got very good boxing as well.
I mean, he's obviously a striker. He's kind of he's on a winning streak. He's a bit uncomfortable, maybe a little unorthodox, not a regular striker kind of guy. But I'm a kind of person that likes to adjust during the fight and like to push my pace, push my way of fighting. So I think it's going to be a good fight.
Do you feel like with a win, the title shot is next for you? Because a lot of people felt like you should have fought Merab in the last title fight.
I am hoping for that. I think that's the right thing to do. I don't think there's anybody ranked higher or somebody who deserves this more than I do. I think that with a confident win this Saturday, I'll make sure to cement my place as the next contender.
What did you think of Sean O'Malley's performance against Merab?
Pretty much expected. This is something that we saw in the first fight already. Sean had nothing to offer them. I'm just understanding that UFC is trying to extract or squeeze out from Sean whatever they invested in him.
Yeah, and you tweeted after the fight, like, back of the line, like, this is what happens when you don't earn your opportunity. Is the rematch with Sean something you're interested in having at least before your career is over, or are you past that?
At the moment, no interest fighting him again. At this moment, I have my own goals, my own ambitions to fight for the title. If somehow he's back in the title conversation where we have to fight for the title, then possibly, but at the moment, he's not on my radar. You saw what he said, right, about him having to change his style, personal style, his tattoos, his hairstyle. I'm happy to see that he finally can see it from the outside and understands that there's things that he needs to change in himself.
Okay, one more for me. The next title fight has been announced, Merab against Cory Sandhagen. How do you see that fight playing out? You fought both guys.
Definitely an interesting fight. Definitely will be watching it. I'm actually happy to be a backup if needed for this fight. I think that Merab is going to definitely push his rhythm, push his pace, push his style, the kind of uncomfortable, quick style. But then Sandhagen also has a chance. I think he's got a lot of good attributes, so I think that he also has a chance to win.
What would you do differently if you were to rematch Merab?
It's very interesting for me to see actually what I'd do in the fight as well against him. I now understand that in the 5 rounds that we had, I probably threw my right hand 4 times. So I'm just interested to see what the fight would play out like differently. If you ask anybody, they probably will agree that you're probably the toughest, the hardest puncher in your division, but you haven't had a finish since 2020. How would you explain the fact that you haven't been able to find a finish? You know, I've watched the fights back. I understand that potentially maybe I'm being a little more cautious nowadays. Before, I used to take a lot of my opponents with this constant pressure, this known pressure, kind of like a boxer way of fighting, constantly pressuring your opponent, not letting him take any steps forward. But, I still understand that victory is more important or most important for myself. Obviously, if you knock somebody out, there's no questions, but still a confident victory, whether it's a knockout or all rounds, it's still a good thing. We know you as a fighter that sometimes comes out not 100%, maybe with injuries and non-injuries. Can we say that this time around you're 100% and everything went well and there's no injuries in preparation? I can't say that every single time that I went out I've had some sort of an injury. I mean, there's been times where I came out and I was 100% fine. And right now I can tell you that the preparation was great and I'm 100% fine and I'm ready to show what I can do. I used to work as security in a club, and just wondering if you were still working security, would you let somebody that looks like McGhee into your club? Both you and him would not go through. Merab Dvalishvili is fighting quite often. He's fought already. October is going to be the 3rd time that he's fighting this year. A lot of times they say after a certain run like that a champion might need to take a little bit of a break. Have you thought about the possibility that if you do get the victory, that the next time you have an opportunity to fight him would have to be all the way in the spring? I think we'll have to see after the fight. I mean, obviously, we need to see what the promotion has in mind, what kind of movement is happening, what kind of plans they have. But even if that's the case, then I'll have the time to take the time to prepare and be ready for the fight whenever it's offered. Umar Nurmagomedov said that Merab doesn't really have all that much skill. It's just that he's got this rough toughness and the strength. So if you look at skill for skill, he doesn't have too much, but somehow whatever strength and whatever skills that he possesses is enough, seems to be enough to keep in the championship. So what would you say about him as his skills? I wouldn't agree with that. I think that even if all you have is a right punch, one right hook or whatever, and then you throw in this and it's working for you, then it is what it is. That's how you get the victory. I wouldn't say that he's not multifaceted, because whatever he's doing is working for him. He's continuing to be a champion. I wouldn't say about Umar that he's all sorts of multifaceted type fighter. We all have the skills, and I wouldn't agree with his assessment.
В 27-28 лет ты был чемпионом UFC, и тогда многим людям казалось, что ты вот вышел на пик своих возможностей. Сейчас тебе 32. У Хабиба была такая теория, что у человека, у бойца не бывает двух пиков. Как ты считаешь, вот сейчас...
Это же теория Хабиба. Пусть он при ней останется.
Сейчас чувствуешь ли ты в себе кондиции, что ты, не знаю, близок к тому, чтобы снова выйти на пик? Или ты еще, например, тогда не прошел свой пик, по твоим ощущениям?
Я думаю, что... Не знаю, как можно оценить, когда ты на пике. Нужно это чувствовать, не знаю, либо показывать. Но я считаю, что у меня есть все, чтобы стараться прийти к этому пику.
Are the things that you were able to achieve when you were 27, 28 and a champion that were easier for you to achieve than at your current age now? I think just the approach is different. The approach now in the 30s is different from when I was in my 20s, whether it's recovery or the way you train, the way you respect your body. It's different now, and I think you learn that with experience, and it really helps you to prolong your career. I know that you're here with your family. I know Nikita Krylov also brought his wife and his son here. Some fighters do that, some fighters don't. Is it something that is helping you to get yourself ready for the fight? And in the day of the fight, will you have the time to maybe play with your kids, or will you be more away from them just to get concentrated on the fight itself? They live separately from me. They don't live in the same place with me. But even during the fight day and the day of the fight, of course I'll see them. I have two sons. If anything, they do not distract me. More like they give me energy. When I see them, I realize why I'm doing this. I realize that all the work that I put in, I'm doing this for the family. My own story is pretty interesting. I come from a family of 8. There was 8 kids in the family. Family is everything to me. At one point, I left home. I wasn't home for 2 years. I trained for a long time. I studied away. So it's a big thing. I know family is important, and if anything, they're more motivation for me, something that I look at and I know what I'm doing this for. And if anything, that we have to set example for the younger generation. I want to be an example for my kids and for other young kids that what we're doing here is honorable and noble, and that there's a reason why we're doing all this.